Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host Johnny, and today I don't have a full table. I'm joined by Ak and Adasi. How you doing, guys?
Good, Johnny. Yeah, it feels different without Fadi, but let's see how we can go. Just the three of us.
It's because there's less anger.
Yeah, there's less tension, eh?
Yeah, we're relaxed today. We're relaxed. We're happy. We're starting with a smile on our faces. There's no fuck this,
There's
fuck
a
that.
bit of calmness, which is unusual.
I know. We miss you. We miss you, little black man. Are you guys been alright?
Good, man. Good.
You guys missed out last week.
Yeah. How'd you guys go? It was good?
Good. I'm sure you watched the Harry episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Interesting character.
Great episode.
It is.
mate.
We'll get a lot more, hopefully a lot more people like that on the show.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Definitely, man.
Today is a special one, like a special edition sort of thing. It's something that we haven't really done before, and it's a fun episode.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got me thinking as well.
That's
Got me thinking.
a hard thing.
Exactly. Like
Usually when you think you remember
Yeah.
score lines
Yeah.
from 35
I
years
know,
ago.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the last time that we were on, Johnny, the 2006 World Cup one, I got a lot of comments from people talking about Adasi's memory.
I got people angry.
that's one way.
This guy is not normal. Was one of the messages.
A couple of people suggested that maybe we should do like a segment every week.
Of just
for 5
testing his
minutes,
memory.
Just test his memory.
Do you know what I would love? Someone out there who would challenge him.
Yeah, that would be awesome, eh?
Why not?
What do you think?
Why not? It'll be fun.
Are you up for the challenge?
Yeah. I might have a bit of rust in there, but why not?
So
Have a go.
if anyone out there think they can remember the score lines from the 98, 02 and 06 World Cup better than Adasi, message us and the challenge is on. And there will be a winner and there will be a prize.
I look forward to it.
If you can beat Adasi, there will be a prize. So get in touch with us or tag anyone.
And what do I get if I win?
You get to stay on this.
Exactly right. Tag anyone who's willing to beat Adasi in the 98, 02, 06 World Cup score lines. I dare you.
Adasi, how do you think your memory is when it comes to like club football?
Probably not as good as World Cups.
Not
maybe.
necessarily scoreline for every game. I just mean, top scorers, league titles.
Probably league titles and Champions League winners, things like that would be my strong point. Yeah, I reckon.
But is it mostly Real Madrid or overall?
Overall, I've been since.
So
the
you're
Champions
telling me
League
you
era.
know who won La Liga in 97?
Yes.
Who won Premier League in 97?
Premier League was Manchester United.
The 96, 97 title.
Yeah,
How sure are you about this?
I am sure. Yeah, I am sure.
98?
Arsenal. So I'll remember that stuff. Because since I started watching football at a proper age.
But
not proper age,
Once again, what makes me
reasonable age.
angry is that you say it so casually. Like, of course I remember
Yeah,
this.
you try to justify it as if we all should be on your level.
It's common knowledge.
Sorry,
yeah.
No,
of course I know who the president of the US is right now. Like, no, man, not everyone knows.
No, it's true. I reckon you'll go strong with La Liga, Premier League,
And Champions League.
Champions League. You reckon Serie A?
Serie A, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
98 Arsenal, 97.
It's a bit easy to remember who won
Man United.
last
Fuck
9
you.
years of Serie A. Jeez. You can't get that wrong. Last 9 years of Serie A,
Yeah.
Johnny,
But
that's
that
fine.
could change now. That could change.
Oh, mate,
I
it
think
looks like
will.
it is going to change.
Yeah.
Let's hope so, for the sake of football.
Yeah.
Same as Germany, same as
Yeah.
I hope Atletico win La Liga. We
100%.
touched on this a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
But today we're jumping on the alphabet of clubs. So what do I mean by that? From A to Z, let's go letter by letter. And
Yep.
which are the biggest clubs that come to mind when it comes to this letter? Obviously, we're going to name a few not so big
Yep.
because some letters are very obscure.
100%.
And every letter will have someone that we know, but a combination of big clubs with smaller clubs.
Okay.
And the challenge will be, when there's a few big clubs, who do you think is the biggest for that letter?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
All
enough.
right, so I'm sure we'll take more time in some letters than others. X and Y are going to be big ones,
Yeah.
but A, B, they're going to be massive ones. So we'll start off really strong.
Okay.
Let's jump straight into it. So A, the first one that comes to mind, obviously, for me, and look, there are no rules.
Yep. Okay.
For example, AC Milan for me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's an A. You can
Yeah.
put under M for Milan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go with A.
Okay.
Probably one of top 3 clubs in the world in regards to history,
Yeah.
titles, players, fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all agreed on in one of our episodes the top 5 clubs in the 90s, and
Yep.
AC Milan was number one. And
Yep.
Yeah, for that
I
decade.
don't think there was
entire
doubting
decade,
that what the way they dominated, and
Mhm.
such a big club. And I know they've taken a bit of a downfall since I think 2011, since they won the Serie A.
Yeah.
And then, you
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
when Berlusconi relinquished his ownership of the club and trying to make a bit of a comeback now, which is good to see.
Yeah.
You know, he-
Zlatan is here, that's why.
yes, he has played a part, I must say. But they've recruited well. I think.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, so in terms of clubs that begin with the letter A, what other clubs were you guys thinking of? Because for me, I was putting AC Milan under M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with A,
I've got two other ones,
Okay.
but let me ask you one thing about AC Milan, because you know
Sure.
a little bit about history and Serie A
Yeah.
more than I do, and it's hard for me to admit that you know something more than I do.
I would have thought it'd be easy by now.
Before the late 80s, the whole Dutch influence,
Yeah.
how big were AC Milan before that? I know there's from 86, 87 onwards there's,
Yeah,
a
they
massive,
were-
there's a massive shift. But before that, were they the huge club they are today?
No, I mean a fairly humble club. They did have some success though. Giuseppe Meazza played for both Inter and AC Milan and is considered by many the greatest Italian player of all time. Great striker, and they won several Serie A's before. However, they did go through a real barren period up until the late 80s. In fact, I'm not sure about this. Darcy, your memory might fail you. This
Yeah.
did they get relegated a couple of times in the 80s before the
I don't
Dutch?
know.
That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure if they got
look,
relegated.
I'm not
but
sure.
they weren't really a big club back in the I know Juve was the bigger. In the,
Oh,
Yeah,
in the
they-
early 80s with the Platini
They had
years?
your mate playing for them.
yes, that's right. And Michel Platini.
Platini.
But and Napoli towards the end.
Well, of course,
with
but
Maradona.
by that point, AC Milan were well and truly taken off as a big club. They were winning European Cups and
That's
Serie
right.
A's.
They did win the European Cup. Yeah.
But it's also, Johnny, not just what they did in the 80s and 90s, but then what they did in the early millennium
Yeah.
with Kaká and,
Yeah. the
Maldini with a
Shevchenko.
legacy of
Yeah,
Maldini.
absolutely.
Ancelotti
Cafu,
era. Yeah.
Ancelotti. Now, that was my number 1A club. My
Yep.
number 2, Ajax.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
huge.
my number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Totally Ajax.
Yeah.
The question, Darcy, what do you reckon between Ajax and Arsenal? I thought Ajax's history was just a little bit more prestigious.
Yeah, in terms of history, yeah.
Yeah.
When the 70s, what was it 60s?
Yeah,
they won
that was the
they won
70s.
European Cups. with
Darcy with the memory, what's
Johan
going on?
Cruyff. And then the 90s, the great youth team they had, winning
Absolutely.
the Champions League and making the final again the year
Yep.
after.
Look,
Great talent. And just known for their great youth.
I've got Arsenal obviously here as well, but
Arsenal.
I don't think it's a competition between Ajax and Arsenal.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
With the influence, the Cruyff, the Dutch influence, the 95
Yeah.
Ajax, the 70s Ajax.
Yeah.
That's why I would have loved to see an Ajax-Barca final when Tottenham
Yeah.
beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Arsenal, strong team, the Invincibles, legacy, Premier League status, Henry, big stars, French connection.
Yeah.
But I put Ajax a step above them in regards to history, in regards to
Yeah.
Yeah.
club. Like, in Ajax, they have one of the best youth systems in the world, but they're not bad at recruiting as well. Like,
True, yeah.
getting people
Yeah.
like Suarez when he was young, getting that South American talent and stuff like that.
Zlatan as well coming
So,
at a
Johnny,
young age.
What would you say? What would Fatty say if he was here?
He would agree with me.
He would agree with you?
And,
Well,
and if he doesn't, I'll throw it back. I'll just remind him that there's no Champions League trophies in Highbury or wherever the fuck they sell themselves
They
to
had their chance.
now. To finish off A, and Adasi can help me here, you got Al Ali, Al Saad, Al
Yeah, a
Ghul,
lot of Als.
Albert,
Al Pacino.
So he got all the Arab countries to start with
yeah,
Al.
Aldi. No.
What does Al mean?
V.
Okay.
It just means the.
So
like,
Al Ali, what does it mean?
Ahli means like, can I translate to family? Like the
Okay,
family.
their family.
Yeah.
So the family got raped by the Wanderers in
Or
2014.
Al Hilal mean like
Al
Hilal
Hilal.
means
Sorry,
crescent.
Hilal.
The crescent as well.
So the
right?
crescent.
So Al Ahly's a huge club in not just Egypt but Africa as well. One of the
Okay.
most successful clubs in Africa. Won the domestic league for many years in a row. African Champions League. They're always up there in the FIFA Club World Cup as
Yep.
well. They've a few times that they've made a run to the semis, and they're also known. It's almost 20 years ago into that day where Real Madrid played a friendly against them in Cairo, and that was when Zidane signed for the club, and
Yeah.
Al
There you
Ahly
go.
won 1-0,
There you go.
and it was a big shock back then, even though it was a pre-season game. You know,
Anyway, bypassing all the
yeah, but they're a huge club,
Arab
yeah.
countries, Johnny, you forgot your beloved Atletico Madrid, man.
yes,
I don't have them in. I remember them,
No, you didn't.
but I don't have them in a status as big as the other three.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Like I like not beloved. I just want them to win over the other two.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're.
The-
Obviously, they're a club that I like, but not as big as the other ones.
No, fair enough, mate.
I'm
B,
just
b-
curious
okay.
for Atletico, curious to know how they're going to go post Simeone era. That's it.
Is he leaving?
No, if he leaves, but like if he does,
I
if
thought
Fear
you-
in
I
your
thought-
eyes, Johnny.
I thought
Fear
you
in
had.
your eyes.
No, I thought you had news that
like,
you were going to
if
share
he-
with
like,
us.
if he's
Breaking
going to go,
news.
like how they're going to. Anyway, that's it.
From
Oh.
Platini himself.
Michelle
he's,
messaged you.
He's still there. Simeone's still
Anyway,
there.
Johnny, B, mate.
B.
B, probably the biggest letter. The biggest letter. See what I did there? We have, obviously, the name that stands out, Barcelona.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, fair enough.
Huge.
Yeah.
You know, what
And-
impact they have.
And whether we like it or not, there was a pre-Messi and post-Messi Barcelona. They were still huge. They still had the Cruyff influence, the Rivaldo, Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
But
Stoichkov.
what Messi has brought for the club, the marketing, the brand, the entity, is just massive.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I would argue I think he transformed their legacy because
Mm.
before Messi, I don't think Barcelona as a big club was all that impressive in terms of
No.
compared to
No, they were-
Man United, compared to AC
Mhm.
Milan.
You'd see in the early 2000s, they were like domestically they was up there, but then they were in the UEFA Cup at times.
Yeah,
You know?
but I'm also talking about historically at
Yeah.
Darcy. Even when Johan Cruyff played, one could argue his tenure there was disappointing.
Hmm.
There were no European Cups, no prolonged La Liga dominance or anything like that. They won their first European Cup in the 90s, and that was after that there was only what, 2.
Yes,
Or-
in 92. They
And that
won
was it?
That was it, and then
And then-
2006 was the next.
And then
one.
that one, so
Well,
there you go.
pre-Messi, there was no argument as to how big Real Madrid were compared to them. The
Yeah.
biggest rival.
Yeah.
I still think Real Madrid's a bigger club overall because of the history,
Yeah.
but Barcelona closed that gap.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
big time,
Yeah.
big time.
So, but obviously, B, Barcelona number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, I've got Bayern Munich.
Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah.
Obviously, one of the biggest club in Germany.
Yeah.
One of the strongest
Massive in Europe.
Strongest centers in Europe.
2 trebles in the last 10 years.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Not 8-9 years, which
Yeah,
is
and,
not a small achievement.
No.
leading the way with Robert Lewandowski still going really strong.
It is a bit boring, and I've touched on this before. The Bundesliga, seeing the same winners over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
It's true.
And Bayern have that thing about recruiting key players from
Dortmund.
direct rivals. Yeah, Dortmund number 1, and even like teams like Schalke and even the other strong clubs in Germany. They just know a way of poaching good players from those direct rivals.
No way. I know which way they use the fucking credit card. What do you mean no way?
Like as in the way that they get them.
Lewandowski, Hamon, all the other players, they got offered triple the money. Of course, they're gonna go.
Yeah.
And Götze as well.
However, I gotta say that
Don't mention that name around me.
you picked Barcelona above Bayern Munich, but it wouldn't be like
No,
By-
not a confident.
no,
Vote, yeah.
And I would argue before Messi, Bayern Munich was a much bigger
100%.
side.
The
Yeah.
Beckenbauer legacy.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Oliver Kahn. There's
number 3, and you guys might argue with me. I put Boca Juniors above Borussia Dortmund.
no, maybe, but I can see how big they are in
Continental
Argentina and
titles,
South
World
America.
Cup titles.
So I wouldn't argue
Maradona
with you
influence.
because I wouldn't argue with you because I put Dortmund for D.
Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, the World Club titles that they have.
Yeah.
They've got the Maradona legacy is more of a fan than a player, to be fair, because he's won one domestic title in '81
Yeah.
and nothing
Yeah.
apart from that. So the Maradona lifted the branding because of his fanatic,
his legacy.
yeah, towards the
Yeah.
club, not so much his playing
Yeah.
for them.
Mhm.
But the Riquelmes, the Tevez, have come out of there.
Yeah.
It's one of, if not the biggest club in Argentina, if not South America. So it's pretty.
Oh, they're huge, man. And I'd love to one day go to a game at the Bombonera Stadium.
I've been to 3,
Yeah.
all the away fans, and I've
know.
got stories about that.
Crazy
Yeah.
that'd
So
be.
one day I reckon I'll get interviewed about my stories.
100%.
Yeah, we'll
All
switch
3
roles.
games, we've lost 1, drew 1, and won 1.
Wow.
So it's pretty good. And lastly, I got Borussia Dortmund.
Okay.
Do you feel? Look, I know they won the Champions League in the late '90s, but do you feel like in the last decade or so, they've lifted as well?
They have. I mean, from 2010, they won the 2010s onwards. 2011 and 2012, they won it 2 years in a row.
Is that under Klopp?
Jurgen Klopp, Lewandowski was there. The great squad they had at the time, and then I don't know, just Bayern Munich just decided to go all out and go buy all these.
Yeah, they
Directly
finally
from-
put their money
But-
down and
And then they recruited really well, and Dortmund didn't quite get there. I mean, they recruited some good players here and there, but just I don't know, it's just something they just lack consistency.
They do. I think though, I think it's a very fair thing for you to say that they've definitely elevated their game in the last 10 years, because the starting point from which Adas is talking about, when they won Bundesliga, and then they did get depleted of all these players from Bayern Munich. They've done a great job to find talent, to recruit, to make money off them. Remember, Ousmane Dembele was there,
Yes.
and you know we know what happened with him. They sold him for 120 million.
Yeah.
Then after that, right after Dembele left, one wonder kid left, Jadon Sancho came in and replaced him.
Yeah.
So their ability to find talent, and then their recruitment for Erling Haaland. When Haaland was on the market, other teams were interested. So they did a great job to convince him, to entice him to get in.
I think is what's interesting about Borussia Dortmund is that they were close to bankruptcy. They were close to folding.
Yeah.
I think in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were really struggling financially, and then
How did they come out of it? Do you know?
I heard, from what I heard, Bayern Munich actually helped them out.
Okay.
So
That's
much as their
interesting.
rivals, Bayern Munich actually stepped in and helped them out and saved them.
Because I've heard of stories of in the past fans coming together and putting money into
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're probably one of the best fans I've seen. When you see
the Yellow Wall.
oh, that's amazing.
I think it hosts 20 to 30,000 people just behind that one terrace.
That's amazing, man.
So that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Look, MBs, we can go all day in regards to, there's a Basel, there's a Bruges,
Yeah.
there's all these other big teams in their respective countries
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we can talk about. But today I just wanted to focus more on the main
Yeah.
clubs
Absolutely.
that come out
Yeah.
of
I mean, it's been 15 minutes and we're only up
of
to
the
B.
B. I know.
Yeah.
Buckle
So-
up, guys.
So let's get into C. Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chelsea, you look, post-Roman era has lifted the game for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even before that, you had that legacy of Zola,
Yeah.
the Hasselbank, the
Mm.
Petit, the Desailly.
And
This is before the money came in.
Ranieri.
I used to, like we mentioned it before when we spoke about goalkeepers. I used to love Codicini. It's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why Zola and Codicini were the two reasons why I became a Chelsea
Chelsea
fan,
fan.
if you want to say.
And how important was
I
that
don't know.
Lampard signing as well? And Gallas.
Lampard, Terry.
Yeah, Gallas.
So before the money came in, they were a respected club. After the money came in, they became a successful club.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think they've been the last 20 years the most successful club in England.
Yeah.
Or 15 years.
Yeah.
Maybe after Fergie left.
Yeah, that Mourinho era, like when he came in,
Yeah.
just really lifted that club.
So without a doubt,
Yeah.
the branding worldwide about Chelsea. I also have Cruzeiro from Brazil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I think maybe Johnny, you might know more about them in the South American touch
All
to it.
I remember is a young Ronaldo against Vélez in '94. He was 17 at the time. He scored a header in the first 20 seconds of the game against
Yeah.
Chile. We drew 1-1 that
Yeah.
game. But yes, they've won in '95.
Yeah.
I think they won the Libertadores.
Yeah.
They won it again in the 2000s. A lot of fans in Brazil, obviously.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest clubs in South America as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, can't argue with that.
And then I've got Celtic.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, great legacy. One of the biggest rivalries that we have in football between Celtic and Rangers. So I totally agree. I think that they are considered not so much necessarily a successful club on any kind of international level, as much as a very very strong club that's had a big legacy with a lot of great players. I think they have won the European Cup a couple of times.
Yeah, back in
67.
The
Yeah.
60s.
So 67 they won it. That was before Man United, to be
Yeah.
honest. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
respect to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well the legacy they have, Henrik Larsson days.
Yep.
Remember him back with the dreadlocks?
I think they say
and-
Tommy Rogic days, but no.
Yeah, going back to the Henrik Larsson time with his dreadlocks, and they were, I think, back, I'd say between late 90s, early 2000s, the Celtic Rangers were pretty decent squads they had.
Yeah.
Well, not as good in Europe, but the players they had on paper, they had some quality players back then.
It's good to see them not going to win the title this year.
Celtic,
I just don't like a monopoly of just like the same
Yeah.
club
Yeah.
over and over. So I like to see a break.
They're one of the most well-supported clubs too. Like wherever they go in European games, they got so much support going. And
They got travelling fans.
yeah, huge travelling
Yeah.
fans. And in particular, the 2003 UEFA Cup final against Porto in Seville, and not just the majority of fans being Celtic fans in the stadium, but outside there was just packed with them. So they do have strong support. A huge club.
All right, Dynamos. I'll put Dynamos because it's Dynamo Kiev, Dynamo Zagreb, Dynamo.
Moscow.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the one that came to mind.
Dynamo Kiev for me is huge. Like think of them. I remind me of the late '90s, Andrei Shevchenko and Rebrov
Yep.
connection they had, and they made the semi-finals of the Champions League in '99. And Shevchenko was an up-and-coming star, which in that season he moved on to AC Milan.
There you go.
Great club, like very big club.
So out of the Dynamo Kiev will be the biggest.
Yeah, consistently, like in the Champions League here and there each season.
Okay.
Whether they go far or not, you know.
Any other clubs that come to mind for these? I know you had Dortmund, but we
Yeah.
covered that. Any other clubs?
No,
Yeah.
not really, mate.
I mean,
It's a tough
there are other ones, but not as big as the ones that we've mentioned before.
Yeah.
Everton I've got.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
I mean,
although Everton are not so much success, and I'm going to take my phone out here because I had some data.
yeah,
In regards to trophies, we don't think of Everton, right?
yeah,
But in regards to consistency, about in the Premier League getting points, even before the Premier League in the English League,
yep,
the historic table of all points overall in the history of English football, Everton are third.
wow. Like, I mean, that's quite a prestigious thing to.
So
to
above Man United,
accomplish.
above Villa, who's fifth, Man City. Only Arsenal and Liverpool have more points than them, but Everton's third overall in the history of English football.
What an accomplishment!
That is, yeah, it's a huge one. I think as well. Maybe the consistency of being in the Premier League and always just being in the trying to be in the top half of the table for a number of years.
Mhm.
That's what led to that. And
So you certainly get the E
Yeah.
letter.
yeah,
I've got Estudiantes from Argentina as well.
yeah,
They've won a few Libertadores. They've got players like Veron coming out of there.
Mhm,
yeah,
They've got Bilardo, who was the coach in '86,
mhm.
yeah,
come out as a player and a coach out of there
yeah,
with his style,
Yeah.
which is a bit of anti-football, anti-sportsman, but gets results no matter what.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
it's all about. But I thought it deserved a special mention for the letter E.
Yeah.
F.
Okay, F.
Yeah.
Tell me who you have and see if we match.
I've got Fenerbahce.
Yep.
There's one.
Cool.
They're a
I didn't
huge-
write them down, but
massive club in Turkey.
Yep.
You know, in the history as well, they've had JJ Kocher play for them. They've
Yep,
had a few
yep.
big names play, Roberto Carlos,
Yeah, no.
Anelka, and now they've got Mesut Ozil.
Well, I heard that when you go to Turkey as a foreign player to try to attract more players, the government doesn't tax you, so you earn money without getting taxed because they want
They
Van
want to
Persie was there as
yeah,
well,
Van Persie was there.
and
recruit more foreign
Yeah.
marquee players.
and get better players,
Yeah.
so that take the tax away from
That's
them.
why you see a lot of big names go there. I think that's probably one of the
Demba
reasons.
Ba was there. He's
Demba Ba,
still
he-
there.
He was
Drogba.
at Besiktas, yeah, Drogba, Galatasaray, yeah.
There you
So
go.
they've got some big names that go to the Turkish league, and they're a huge club, and you see they got massive support of
Yeah,
their fans. Like
yeah.
the atmosphere they create is amazing.
Yeah,
Who else do you have, Ak?
Fiorentina.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's why I went to you.
Yeah.
100%, mate.
Take
Yeah, I
Batistuta.
left him to
Take
Fiorentina for you.
Batistuta away.
Okay.
Would Fiorentina be even in your mind? I know you're gonna say Baggio, but I don't link Baggio and Fiorentina. I link
Oh, but that,
Batistuta and Fiorentina.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, but that's you not linking up. Like, Fiorentina fans and fans, people from Tuscany certainly do link Baggio with Fiorentina. But all right, but like, let's say take Batistuta away from it, take even Baggio away from it. I still think they would be number one in terms of the greatest club that starts with F. They did do really well in the early 2000s. They had players like Adrian Mutu, so they did have a resurgence. And
He
a
was in the
reviving-
bags though. 100%. He was doing lines with Boza.
Yeah,
Yeah, they moved to-
more recently, the 2013, 14, 15 kind of era, they had Mo Salah there, they had Juan Cuadrado, they actually had a really, really decent side.
They got Ribéry now.
Well, yeah, they got like a 38-year-old Ribéry.
He has a Scarface.
That scar's looking pretty bad now, and all the wrinkles and everything. But at the end of the day, like I still think that they are perhaps the most successful and just greatest club that begins with F. If you're not gonna use silverware, then at least for me, legacy. They also had one of the greatest number 10s that ever played in Italy, in Roberto Antononi, who played in the 70s and was a pivotal player and class personified.
I've got another team that starts with F. Has had a better 10 than him. Okay. Don't look at my computer.
Okay.
But-
I was saying a Fiorentina
Okay.
case, apart from the Nintendo link. For me, one player that sticks to mind, I think, of Fiorentina, Rui Costa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rui Costa was massive.
What a player he was, man. Great,
Great creative player.
Just a few
Yeah,
days ago,
absolutely.
they had like a compilation of his skills and hearts in the Champions League. The way he played the game was great to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna also say Feyenoord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got Feyenoord as well.
Yeah.
But the team I was thinking of starts with F, more silverware than Fiorentina, and a better 10 in history, Flamengo.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zico played for them in the
Yeah.
early 80s.
Yeah.
He's come out of there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they've won the
Kaká played for them
Libertadores.
as
I thought you played Sao Paulo.
Flamengo. No,
Sao Paulo.
Cafu played for Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Kaká played Sao Paulo as well.
Nice,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, Flamengo won the Libertadores against River Plate in the final.
No, fair enough,
So,
mate. Yeah, good
Yeah.
pull.
Mm.
so that's F for me. G.
Gee.
Honestly, I have
You mentioned
no clue, mate.
Galatasaray.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big club.
So
in
I've got
Turkey.
them.
Yeah.
I've got Gremio.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Ronald-
yeah.
Ronaldinho's
Good,
team.
yeah.
Or was it them? I think that there was them that won 95. Maybe I might be mistaken there.
Mhm.
The
Ronaldinho came out of there.
yes. Yeah. Like it was. They did win 95 because they played Ajax in the
There you go.
Toyota Cup final.
I think Cruzeiro was 97.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Getafe, just to mention someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of the on the outskirts of Madrid. They're a tough team sometimes to play against.
I thought of Genoa.
Yeah.
Thought Genoa,
Yeah.
You know, decent club, but yeah. Besides that, I honestly think you hit it there with Gremio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gremio,
Gremio.
Galatasaray, Getafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's when you start getting into the more tricky ones. All right. So H, for example, there's very little.
I'll just come to mind now for H. Hertha Berlin.
Yep, that's I've
beautiful.
got
They're,
them.
Paul Darcy.
They're a just not one of the they're always struggling now in Germany. I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They did have a time. I think it was 20 years ago. They made the Champions League. Made the second round of that, but they've just struggled since then. I think they got relegated once or twice since, like in the last 10 years or so, and they've been hovering around the relegation zone. And
Yeah.
for a club that plays out of the massive Olympic Stadium in Berlin.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
The other one's Hellas Verona
Yeah.
mm.
from Serie A.
That was going to be my pull, but
Mm.
at the same time, in terms of their legacy or anything like that, it wasn't too much to
No,
write about. You know.
like I said, now we're just mentioning teams.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
for
We
the
can,
sake
we
of
can
it.
mention La Liga's Huesca. What are they called?
Huesca.
Westgar, yeah, they're bottom of the table, La Liga.
So I don't even mention them. I don't,
yeah.
I don't talk about it. I don't care about them. All right, obviously there's one. I've got 2 teams, but there's one that stands out.
Yep.
Which is AC.
Internazionale.
Yeah.
In other words, Inter Milan.
Inter Milan,
Yeah.
yep.
100%.
Massive club.
Yep.
In the
Yeah.
battle of the Milan clubs, can we say that the second?
They are second,
Yeah,
but it's like
only
we
just.
said. It's like we said though, they're second because of the Milan of the 90s.
Yep.
I honestly, how would you compare the AC Milan and Inter Milan sides of the 21st century?
21st century overall, AC
Then-
Milan's on top.
Yeah.
I mean, 2010 you got the treble from Inter Milan.
Yeah, like that's.
But then you got
such
the
a big
early,
one.
the Maldini factor, the Cafus.
Would
the
you,
Yeah.
would you
special
count
for-
both Inter's? Would you count Inter's Serie A titles are handed to them because of Calciopoli as well? Like,
They still won them.
they won them.
And
but
then
they
how
did-
much was Milan?
Just because Juve wasn't there, he's always
No,
there.
Juve was there, but
Also Milan, though.
Milan was
they did take a hit.
hit hard as well by that.
But
as
at
well.
the same time, that's why, Darcy, could you say that how much of Milan's success in that early 21st century was down to Calciopoli? Because that's the whole point. They
They really
they were
were,
getting
though.
the benefit of the refereeing scandal.
They were successful in Europe, I think, as well.
That's
like
true.
Domestically, they really didn't win
Yeah,
much
that's
Serie A.
true.
Like it was Inter that won, and then Milan won in 2011, and then Juve just won the rest.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
then.
I
But,
like
I think of
Inter
Inter.
Milan.
I think the late '90s, like mid to late '90s, when Massimo Moratti, the owner, then spurred some cash on some quality players, Zamorano, Djokovic, and of course Ronaldo, R9. But you think maybe they didn't probably win enough. Well, great team on paper.
The thing
Quality.
is that like,
Cambiaso.
Yeah.
It was a bit later on. We had
No.
Veron, Simeone. Yeah,
Yes.
Zanetti obviously come in the mid 90s.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
one of the best signings they ever did was Javier Zanetti. What a
Well,
sign!
For
Well,
nothing,
yeah,
and ended up being the
absolutely.
captain.
15 years he was there, or longer.
Oh,
At least,
he went in
yeah.
the mid 90s, 96, I think, 95.
And when did he retire? Yeah.
2010 he was still captain,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it would have been 2014 or
Treble,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. So almost 20 years.
One of my favourite right backs of all time.
I mean, but like I said, like if you think about it from prior to that 88, 89 era of AC Milan's, Inter had a far more successful and prestigious era back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, they won
Helenio
European
Herrera
Cup.
Yeah.
brought in Catenaccio.
Yeah.
That you had the Spaniard Luis Suarez who was pulling strings there.
Yeah.
You had a fantastic side.
And then you had
a
the-
side that kind of conquered Real Madrid's, Puskás and Di Stefano.
Yeah, and then also in the early 90s, I had the German connection with Klinsmann, Bremer, and Matthäus.
Matthäus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Dennis Bergkamp was there too.
True.
That's just for you,
Shout for
Fatty.
Fatty.
Yeah,
He just ejaculated. The other eye I've got is Independiente from Argentina.
You're right. That's you choking on your drink there, mate.
He liked that.
Are you right?
I'm good.
You going a bit red there, Darcy. What's going on?
He might-
By the way, mate. By the way, how is Jasmine doing,
Shut
mate?
the hell up.
Doing all right?
This guy's
No. Trouble in
Did
paradise.
she message you since the last
girl.
since we spoke about her?
No.
Alright.
Anyway,
Apparently he slept in the backyard that night. When the show was released that night, Darcy slept in the backyard. His wife found out about Jasmine. She was not happy. I'm sorry. All right, Independiente is the other eye I had.
idiots.
Many Libertadores. I've actually got the most Libertadores in all of Argentina.
Wow. Yeah.
At a time when it was not easier to win it, but easier to make to the final. Because once you won it, the following year, I think you went straight into like the third or fourth round, so 2-3 games away from being in the final again. Regardless, they still won, I think, 4 in a row. Overall, they've got 7.
Who were the players that came out there?
Aguero is the
yeah,
latest one.
Yeah.
They've got a player that he's not known worldwide, but big in Argentina. His name is Porcini. He only played for Independiente his whole career,
Really? Yeah.
and he was a class
Cool.
player.
Club
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Gabriel Milito?
Milito came out of there, and
Yeah.
his brother came out of Racing, which is next door and the biggest one.
Oh, wow.
So there's a
Sibling rivalry.
Gabby Milito.
there's a
wow,
famous
what a name.
famous game and moment in a game where Milito Gabriel chopped someone and the referee gave him a yellow and his brother said give him a red and then he turned and goes what and then start fighting on the pitch like
Wow.
arguing about what you asking for a red
What
for
a
and like
story.
Wow.
so there's it's a famous moment in the pitch.
Sibling rivalry. That's
Exactly
best.
right.
Wow.
So yeah, worth mentioning considering probably one of the biggest clubs.
Yeah.
I reckon third in Argentina.
Wow. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Juventus for Jay for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Easy.
No one comes close.
No.
Yeah.
They won the last 68 Serie A titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing about Juventus is, yes, they've been successful, but and we've mentioned this before. They're very smart recruiting. They've got a lot of free
Yeah.
agents, a lot of cheap buys. Even Cristiano at 100 million or whatever they paid for him, you made your money back in a year.
Absolutely.
Aaron Ramsey free, Khedira free,
Oh,
Danny Alves.
Danny
free.
Alves free,
Wasn't
Patrice
Pogba
Evra
free?
free.
Pogba
Pogba
was
free.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Rabiot
And
free,
then
like-
they sold Pogba for a lot of money after
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Like they've always been
Yeah.
a smart, shrewd
Yeah.
operation. They were fantastic in the early 21st century, right before Calciopoli. They won a European Cup in '96.
you got big names coming out of there like Del Piero.
Yeah.
That's Trezeguet played there. Then you think Pirlo played there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all these big
Nedved.
names. Camoranesi,
I think
Nedved.
I mentioned it maybe a couple podcasts ago when they sold Zidane and the money they used it so wisely buying Buffon, Nedved, and Thuram. Like,
Absolutely.
great.
And then if you go deeper
use of
into,
money there.
then if you go deeper into their history, obviously you had your mates days over there.
Platini in the '85 when they.
And even before that, you did have the the fantastic trio in the early '60s. One of the greatest Argentinians that ever played for Juventus, mate. Omar Sivori.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. John Charles.
Yeah.
It was one of the best.
It's
perhaps the
a
most
lot of
successful
history, and I
Englishman.
think that's why a lot of people were angry when the logo was changed and the emblem was changed to such a
Absolutely.
Yeah.
such a modern design that didn't really represent the history of the club.
Yeah.
No.
But it's happening more and more now. Like Inter Milan's doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I was on Twitter the other day when they released the logo, and the reactions is pretty negative. So I never understood
Inter's
the
logo,
intelligence
yeah.
behind it.
It's negative, but it's a change. So it's something else in the jersey to buy. So you have to buy the new jersey with a new logo.
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing more than anything else.
Yeah, they change the jerseys every year.
K is probably the toughest one.
I had one.
Talk to me.
Kaiserslautern.
What you, bless you.
Where the venue Australia beat Japan in the first ever World Cup. But yeah, they were a pretty big club. Not so much now. They did get relegated to the second division in Germany. They did win the Bundesliga in '98. They won it, and then they had some good run there in the Champions League the year after.
How the hell do you know that?
Quarterfinals.
How the hell do you know that they've won the '98 Bundesliga title?
I remember they won it.
You remember?
Yes. You know, it's what usually Bayern Munich or Dortmund that win
Johnny,
it.
man, I'm telling you, every
And
week,
then
5 minutes.
and then this name came up, and this not name, this the team club Kaiserslautern won it. They had a decent side. That's all.
Now Johnny's going red, but for a completely different reason than I'd asked you before.
Djorkaeff played for them once.
I tell you, Johnny, man, every week, 5 minutes, we just
I
throw out a random question.
put a few spanners in the works.
Let's
you know.
see if we can go on a streak.
Yeah, but
That's
one club I can think
let's
of.
stop. Because if you say yes to this, I'll be really angry, and you're never allowed to come back. Do you know all the French league winners as well? No. surely
Since
not.
what year? I know, like I'm saying, no,
Not since 95.
no, I wouldn't. I know most of them.
Okay.
I know most of them.
The reaction, the look on your face, Johnny.
I
when
know
you
most-
said, from what year? 60s? From the 70s?
Yeah.
I know most of them from the 90s. That's it.
Love
So
it.
who won the French league in '98?
Wait. I think Lons.
You got to check this, Johnny.
Lons.
I don't want to, but because if
I
I,
think
check
it
it
was
is
Lons.
right, I'm going to be angry.
I can just imagine Fatty sitting at home watching this right now.
If it is Lens, French league winner in '98.
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
No,
just-
sorry, that's 98, 99. So you may still be,
Oh.
may still be right. Lens won '98. How do you know that? Why do you know that? Don't give me a bullshit excuse about your brother being at the game or that day I remember I had a toast for breakfast, so I watched it. Oh, fucking hell. All right.
I love annoying you.
It's so bizarre. It's bizarre, Johnny.
I had for K. I had Konyaspor from Turkey as well, but just to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
just to put someone in there because
Yeah.
I am. Do you
Unless-
do any
unless-
K?
No, I was hoping you would.
Kazakhstan 91.
That's it.
then K does his Kellogg's in the morning for breakfast. All right, L. Few names here for L. Liverpool obviously being
Yep.
the
Yeah.
big one,
Yeah, Liverpool probably.
and I don't think anyone comes close in regards to the L
No.
because of the Champions League
Yeah,
titles, because of the recent success, because
the
of
support they have worldwide.
the
is-
support,
Yeah.
the 80s, the 70s, the
Yeah.
90s, like everything.
Yeah.
The players,
Yeah,
as much as we'd like to give them shit,
Anfield.
Yeah, as much
It's
as
what-
you like to give them shit.
Anfield as well.
but we, I mean, Fatty and I.
Yeah.
My saying is, I'd rather walk alone. But yeah, Liverpool,
yeah,
without a doubt,
we know
biggest L.
how
Yeah.
good they are, how big they are.
The other ones I had, obviously, are Lyon.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Lyon, big club in France.
huge. They won the French league 7-8 years in a row in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
They recruited very well.
Is that
and-
where Benzema came from?
Yep.
Yeah, great players. Michael Essien, Sidney Govou, Juninho,
Oh,
Pernambucano, one of the best dead ball specialists I think in the
Yeah.
game.
they
He was-
dominated
if
Liga
not the
1 at
best.
that
They
point,
did,
mate.
yeah.
I was reading on Juninho's stats from free kicks. It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite possibly the greatest free kick.
Yeah.
ever,
Have you seen some of his goals? The way the ball swerves from one direction to the other.
Because we think about Beckham,
Crazy.
like that's his specialty.
Yeah.
But Juninho was like a goal scorer from
Yeah.
any angle, from any
That's right.
distance, from
His
Like
statistics
his-
were
Yeah,
quite-
not just free
a lot
kicks, but
more.
outside the box, he just unleashed goals out of nowhere.
Yeah.
the other one that comes to mind is Lazio.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. For me, Lazio, the best times for them were the late 90s, early 2000s. Sven-
Nedved,
Yes, Sven Goran Eriksson coaching there.
Simeone again.
Yeah, Veron, Stankovic.
Nesta.
Nesta.
Yeah, Marcelo Salas.
Yeah.
Vieira, Christian Vieira was there for 1 year.
Any big goalkeepers come out of the deck? Or played for them? Do you remember? Nothing stands out.
goal.
No,
Goalkeeper.
Peruzzi was there for a bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Marchigiani, he was there for a long time.
no one too stand out really. No one too legendary or anything
Yeah.
like that. Darcy, let me know. 99, they won Serie A. 99 to
99/2000.
And
Yeah,
that was like one of the most hotly contested Serie
it was.
A's.
Juventus blew it in the last day of the season.
on the last day, mate.
And then-
yeah.
And I remember the top scorers for that league that year were amazing. Like some of the names that were there were.
Yeah.
Because Crespo played for them as well.
Yeah, world record signing for
Absolutely.
2 weeks. He had the world record fee from Parma to Lazio, and then
Who did
yeah.
it?
2 weeks later, Figo transferred to Real Madrid.
Oh, the trader. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they were a huge club. And then they bought Yapstam, remember? When,
Yes, true.
But then they kind of went into a downfall financially, then to sell their good players, which happened to a lot of Serie A clubs.
Well, yeah, like I
Like
mean,
Fiorentina almost lost their name, or they did lose
Absolutely.
their name for a bit, and then
that's what's
Go
so
again.
infamous about Serie A. Is, you
Did
know,
they
the
have to use
downfall.
like an obscure name like they do in FIFA when you don't have the rights to?
Fiorentina did. That was called
remember the old PES or the old like PlayStation
Yeah.
games?
Yeah, yeah.
We
Man
had to-
Red.
We had to you had to use different names.
London Blue.
London
or-
Blue. I was like, I used to play with London Blue.
But yeah, Fiorentina I think had like something Viola, the name they changed.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Viola means purple in
Yeah.
Italian.
I've got Leicester and Leeds as special mentions, but Leeds have a good history.
Yeah.
Leicester won the Premier League recently. That's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
There's to me no doubts that Manchester United is the biggest club.
Yeah.
And once again, the one factor was speaking of Barcelona having Messi, for me, Man United having Fergie there's a before and after
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
regards to the legacy. Yes, the 60s. Yes, the Busby Boys. Yes, the 68. Yes,
Yeah,
Bobby
yeah.
Charlton. Yes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
George Best.
But
yeah,
up
all
to
that.
up to the 90s, they were struggling. In the late 80s,
Absolutely.
they were struggling.
Very, very
Yeah.
humble history.
And then,
between
you
those
look,
two
you look,
moments.
you look at the numbers Fergie was able to pull with them, and it's just
Yeah.
out of this world.
And then just the impact they had financially and the global branding they had around the world as
Yeah.
well. Like
Yeah.
Gary Cantona put them on the map as well.
with plays like that, that's the reason why. But the consistency there across the decades was Fergie.
That's right.
To not finish below third in the Premier League, which is the most competitive league in the world,
Yeah.
is disgustingly amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. And then you look since he left, you just look at the records, the coaches actually
Exactly
come and
right.
gone.
whereas Manchester City, yes, recent records, yes, 8-9 years, but they're an example of what money can do.
Yeah.
Not how big a club is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
absolutely. And before that, they were, I think it was just felt like yesterday when they were in the division below the Premier League. They were in the lower division. So
Yeah.
Who? Some obscure names have played for them. Sean Wright Phillips.
Sean Wright Phillips.
Did Robinho play for them?
Yeah, Robinho.
Robinho.
Elano, Brazilian player called Elano, played for him.
El Ano in Spanish means the anus. El Ano. Just letting you know.
Thank you for that information. Johnny.
Thanks, John.
No worries.
Always helpful.
Yeah, no, Roque Santa Cruz played for him. Yeah, some few.
That's when the money first started coming in.
Yeah, they were owned by some.
But before that, Anelka played for him.
Yeah, yeah,
Peter Schmeichel, which is a bit surprising.
yeah,
Played for
yeah,
them. All right, N. I've got two names here.
Yeah.
yeah,
Newcastle United,
Yep.
Alan Shearer,
yeah,
and Napoli Maradona.
yeah.
Of course,
yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yep.
But once again, it's those key players that make the clubs. I mean,
Yeah.
you take Shearer away from Newcastle, you take Maradona away from Napoli, I don't think we'll be talking about them.
No, absolutely. I mean, we
They're
might
synonymous
be
with
because,
those clubs. Yeah,
you know, there's not that many clubs that start with N that are that
Yeah.
successful, but still
No.
the point still stands that those two figures transformed the legacies of both clubs.
yeah,
I would put Napoli over Newcastle though.
yeah.
I think Maradona
Mm.
was more successful,
Yeah.
What are you
and
talking about
Napoli
the-
was more successful.
And they actually won a league title.
They won 2 league titles.
Yeah,
They won a UEFA
UEFA
Cup,
Cup.
and
which, you know, unfortunately Newcastle's not been able to ever get to
They've-
that standard.
yeah,
Newcastle recently were in the second division.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
I lost a lot of money with big bets I lost.
yeah. Look, Newcastle's a huge club. I think in there where they're from in England, because like there's not many clubs around them. They got them, and then
The
Sunderland's
mic, mate, the mic, the mic.
Sunderland's their rival. So Sunderland's their rival, but they're
They're in third
they
division.
They consider themselves a huge club, but they just haven't made that. So I know part of that problem is the ownership, Mike Ashley. Like there's a lot of talk of him how he's really brought the club down and he
Yeah.
hasn't really taken the club to the next levels. And then there were talk about them getting taken over by MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi prince.
That's right.
So-
that was
and
last
they
year.
blocked
They
it
were
off,
trying to.
didn't
Yeah, they were going to be the richest club.
And then as soon as that story came out, they said, "Oh, we're going to buy Mbappe." The fans got
Yeah.
excited, and that didn't happen. So.
Oh,
Jumping on to O, I put Olympique Marseille,
yeah.
biggest club
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
France.
Huge, yeah. In the 90s, they were huge. And then they won the Champions League in 93, but then it was tarnished by the match fixing scandal in the domestically in the French
Mhm.
league. And then they kind of tarnished their legacy a bit. But yeah, they're a huge club.
Once again, to me, from what I've heard, is the biggest club in France
Yeah.
Yeah.
in regards to support, in
Yeah.
regards to success.
Yeah.
And their history and legacy.
Yeah, yeah. Because
I mean-
PSG is fairly new club.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, it was founded in the 70s,
Yeah.
or a pretty new club in that way.
Yeah.
Uh,
70, yeah.
And yeah, Marseille's got a bit of a richer history and a bit of richer
Absolutely.
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And then the other one's Olympiacos, one
Yeah.
of the top two in.
Huge in Greece.
In Greece.
Yeah.
And then
Come
another club, Osasuna.
Yeah.
on, man.
Not huge. Not huge.
Is it because Aloisi
No,
played for
I
them?
actually can't stand that club because going there every time Real plays them, that's a dirty team to play against, and yeah, I
Sound like
always
a-
enjoy it when they get relegated.
You sound like a sook.
Always get no, they are a dirty team. Everyone knows that.
Anyway,
You go there with billions of dollars and you're scared of Osasuna.
Not scared.
Fuck off, I don't.
Yeah,
Get back to your
It's
training
good. It's
ground.
good when they It's good when they get relegated. So yeah.
oh wow. Okay, so
Speaking of training ground, sorry. I heard Real Madrid's building a casino in the stadium.
What's it called? Burns' Casino.
No, I'm not joking. In the remodeling of the Bernabeu,
yeah,
Oh, it's going to become a business precinct. Yeah.
there's the part of it is going to be a casino that we're estimating is going to bring 150 million profit
There'll be
a
that.
year.
Cafes,
Per-
restaurants, and
Perez's idea is to transform Real Madrid. Already, as far as a successful club they are, the new stadium is designed to really push them into a really elite category. The
But
stadium
having
is going to be
casinos in the
state of the
stadium
art.
interesting. Like I found that interesting in the
Absolutely.
sports
He-
business side of
like,
things,
I
which
can
some people enjoy.
He's thinking of the most innovative ways to enhance the income and the revenue streams for Real Madrid. The stadium is
Yeah.
projected to be state of the art in every facet.
Yeah.
retractable roof.
How
and-
much was it going to be? Was it quoted as like $500 million
So yeah, it's
investment?
massive. Hundreds of
If
millions.
it's $500 million, it's $500 million, and if this casino's making 150 profit every year,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
It's
he's,
smart.
he's definitely
It's
had an
very smart.
economic thought about it.
For me, it's not like, while the economic side of it is very interesting, no one's ever really done this to this point, and you got to ask: is it because of his connections? Is it because of his the people he knows, the networking within
Well, he's
Spanish
a
government?
construction
Because,
magnate, so he's
like, I
huge.
got to
in-
tell you that is, he wields a lot of power in Spain. Then.
well, if La Liga keeps letting you do things like playing your training ground, then
Oh, here we go.
Even his training ground.
It's a legitimate ground.
yeah,
Um,
you can do whatever you want. in La
I'm just
Liga.
glad I was able to see the stadium before they did all the works on it.
All right, P is a big one.
Yeah.
PSG, PSV.
PSV for me is a big one. I felt that club is had some great players come through.
Romario.
Romario, Ronaldo, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ian Robben, just to name a few. And one striker, I don't know if you guys remember, he's Belgian striker, Luc Nilis. Played for him in the 90s, early 2000s.
No.
Belgian striker. And Ronaldo said he's one of the best strikers he's played with.
Okay.
Wow, fair
yeah,
enough.
he was a great.
What happened to him?
Interesting one, because he went to Aston Villa in 2000, and then the third game of the season, he actually got an awful leg break, clashing with the goalkeeper, and then could have had his leg amputated. So that was his career ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Fair
Wow.
enough,
Luc
mate,
Nilis. He
fair
was a
enough.
big player for Belgium and for PSV, and Ronaldo actually said one of the best strikers he's played with.
Really good
Yeah.
story, Darcy. Good story.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, you know me, Johnny. When I thought P, thought Parma.
Parma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Parma. Yeah, it's a big one for me to
Yeah,
leave.
can't believe you didn't mention it, Darcy. It's terrible, mate.
I was getting to it.
No, Darcy.
Parma, obviously late
I left that
90s.
for you, man.
Late 90s, big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 UEFA Cups, a Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, never actually got to get the Scudetto, but the amount of talent that came out of Parma, Gianluigi Buffon,
Cannavaro.
Cannavaro.
And then Thuram, I remember when he
Yeah.
first watching
Yeah.
Thuram play for Parma, he was a great player. I was like, this guy's solid.
We mentioned Olympiacos. I wanted to mention Panathinaikos.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the other big club is Peñarol from Uruguay.
Yes.
They had a big
yes.
rivalry with Santos, Pelé
Yeah.
Santos in the 60s.
Yeah.
And they won a few Libertadores. The last one, I think, was in 87.
Yeah.
Obviously, Uruguayan football, domestic league has dropped a lot in the last few years. So they haven't been able to compete at a high level.
Yep.
But history-wise,
Yeah.
they're worth a mention.
You might
Fair
laugh.
enough.
Another P, Perth Glory, I know, domestically. They've been, 96, the obviously oldest club in the
And
A-League.
the figure Parramatta Eels.
Parramatta Power, you mean.
Parramatta Power. All right.
All right, Q. I've got two here.
Yeah.
QPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had money coming in as well.
They did.
And,
They
and
did.
even though you saw the team on paper and they bought well,
Oh.
they didn't perform.
Yeah, what was it? From 2011, 2012, they had all
Yeah.
these great players.
That was
in
that
the
was
squad.
the year. Sorry, that was the year that the final game was against Manchester City.
Yes.
Aguero.
Yes, yes. Well, and then QPR, finally, they were in a relegation battle, but when they found out the result of the other game, that it meant that if they lost to Man City, it didn't matter. So they were all celebrating end of the game, like they survived relegation and they won the titles. What a crazy day that was.
Anyway, Johnny, who else?
Querétaro from Mexico, not a big team, but
Fair
starts with
enough.
Q. Starts with Q, so they,
Yeah.
they qualified into this round. Congratulations, guys. All right. Obviously the big one, Real Sociedad. I'm talking about.
You had us there for a second.
So obviously Real Madrid, in my opinion, as much as shit I give you guys, is the biggest club in the world. Because of the history, because of the title, because of the fans, because of the stadium, because
Yeah.
of the branding, because of you dream of Real Madrid as a player.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the biggest football club. And like I said, Messi challenged that with Barcelona because of his figure.
Yeah.
But take away Messi and Cristiano, that era before, Real Madrid by far biggest club in the world.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and voted club of the 20th century by FIFA
There you
as
go.
well.
Anyway,
Then you got Roma,
Yeah.
worth mentioning.
Yeah.
They haven't won too much, surprisingly. I think they've only won 2 Scudettos in their history,
yeah,
which is considering such a big club, you think that they would have won more.
absolutely.
Yeah, the last one, 20 years ago.
When with Totti and Batistuta
Yeah,
together.
wow, and Capello as coach. Yeah,
But you got the names of Totti, you got those names coming through.
yeah,
Daniel De Rossi.
yeah.
You know, it's a club that, while you're not going, its legacy is not necessarily defined by silverware, but by the people that played
Yeah.
for him and by the fans.
And Cafu as well down the right. For the
Yeah.
Jews,
Yeah, sure. And the rivalry with Lazio as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They come from Rome, that Italian
The mystique,
pride.
the mystique,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
River Plate is another one that I
Yeah,
wanted to
you gotta
mention.
say River
Big
Plate, yeah.
club in the last, and to be honest, you guys might not know much about this, but the last since 2014,
Mhm.
so the last 7 years, Gallardo
Yeah,
has been coach and transformed the whole club.
yeah.
Probably one of the best coaches in the world right now.
Really?
As much as I hate to admit it.
Very iconic
Um,
club with that jersey, that red slash.
Yeah, but look, I can see him coaching in Europe very, very soon.
Wow. Okay.
He's
fair
of that
enough.
caliber,
Yeah.
and he was in talks with Barcelona
Mm.
when someone before Setien, I think, came in.
Valverde.
When Valverde was in,
Mm.
and then Valverde went in a streak of winning like 3 or 4 games,
Mhm.
and they just lagged. And he goes, "No, I'm starting the season with River Plate. I'm going to finish it with them."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's actually in talks with Barcelona, which is
Wow.
Rangers, another worth mentioning. Now with
Yep.
Gerrard at
Yeah.
the helm,
Yeah.
we mentioned Celtic. So even
Yeah.
though they struggled and went all the way to the 4th division or whatever it is, took them all to get back
Yeah.
where they are now, and what Gerrard's done with them is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're definitely worth mentioning, mate.
And break the Celtic.
Yeah.
Whether it's one or the other, I just don't like seeing the same team win over and over
Yeah.
again. São Paulo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
São Paulo got him from obviously the early 90s with the Cafus that we're talking about,
Yeah.
winning that 2 Libertadores in a row,
Yeah.
making it to 3 finals. It's
Crespo's there.
sorry,
Coaching, Crespo's
Crespo's coaching there now,
and
yes.
Dani Alves playing for him too.
yeah. Kaká came out of there, like I mentioned before. Zeti,
Yeah.
like Roger Seni,
The keeper.
the keeper. So there's a lot of names coming out of there.
Yeah.
Sevilla is another one that I've got for us.
Yep.
Yeah, your Europa League, UEFA Cup specialists. People call
Mhm.
that won so many titles in that competition. It was a very good club, always up there challenging, Barcelona, Real, like always give them a tough time.
Absolutely.
Good players have come through there, not maybe through the youth team, but they've recruited as well.
Absolutely. You know,
Good players.
Ramos, Alves.
Yeah,
Reyes.
Canute, I remember was
Yeah.
there. Now that Ever Banega was there for a bit.
They got a really nice, interesting young team now, mate.
yeah.
You know, Diego Carlos is
Yeah.
a great centre back right now, and
Ocampo-
everyone.
Ocampos.
And the Argentinian right winger, and then everyone says the next great centre back, Jules Koundé,
Kunde, yeah.
is
yeah.
playing fantastic for them right now, and Real Madrid's
Yeah.
been sniffing around him and a number of other major clubs in Europe.
Maybe this is Lopetegui's chance now to show
What he
he's
can
capable
do,
of,
yeah.
Schalke is another one that I've got in there, but obviously not
yeah,
not compared to the other
quite
ones.
sad story what's happening to them. They are literally rock bottom in Bundesliga. They've had to sell players left, right, and centre. I think they were one of the clubs that hit really hard by the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
They are a huge club in Germany in terms of support, one of the most highest supported
I
clubs.
get that,
But-
but once again, I lost a lot of money in the betting for them once.
Well,
I never
that's
remember
a-
that, so
that's
suck
a-
shit,
that's a-
Schalke.
That's a grudge. That's a grudge.
That's payback
That's
for my
personal
bets.
beef. Personal beef. I don't want to call it.
That's payback
As
for my
long as you're
bets.
objective, that's all we ask.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to go down, which is quite a story. That is.
All right, we'll finish off the last one. Tottenham. I can't think of anyone challenging the Tottenham.
No, not at all.
Not because
No.
of success once again, but because of the branding, the club,
the
the
money,
names,
the size, the talent. Yeah. Udinese.
Udinese, Utrecht,
Utrecht.
and Union Berlin are the 3 that come to mind.
Union Berlin's an interesting one. It's a small club, a rival for Hertha Berlin. They only came to Bundesliga a couple of years ago, and then such a small stadium, like 9,000-10,000 capacity, but they've really punched above their weight. They've really done really well.
Udinese, any big names from Udinese?
One I can think of, Di Natale.
Yes.
Still there?
Antonio Di Natale.
Or is he retired?
No, he's
He's
retired.
retired. So
Yeah.
but I just think of them. And I had Suleiman Tari played for him. Oliver Bierhoff.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's one of
German.
probably the best headers of the ball.
Better than Cahill.
Yeah. The way he...
I'm
had
not
such-
even taking the piss. Cahill was
Cahill was
like-
good, but...
But just the reaction.
considering his size,
Yeah,
Cahill
yeah.
was an amazing header of the
Yeah,
ball.
but the way Bierhoff's accuracy and the power he had in his headers was unbelievable.
Better than Hasselhoff or Bierhoff? All right. Should do V now or should we skip V and leave it to the end? 'cause we're going to have a disagreement here.
He's changed the alphabet, everyone.
West Ham, Wolves, and Werder Bremen have got for W.
Yeah, I Wolves in West Ham.
Yeah.
West Ham, big fan days, London, Green Street Hooligans, the movie.
Yeah.
They had Tevez play for them. They had
Wolfsburg, another
right,
they've
club.
got
from,
a
yeah.
nice stadium now.
Yeah, Wolfsburg is another club.
Wolfsburg's another club.
Yeah.
They won,
Alessandro played for them.
yeah, they won the Bundesliga in 2009.
Yeah.
Dzeko was there.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
there you go.
At a,
Wolverhampton go up and down, so
Yeah.
not worth mentioning.
called
them.
Portugal FC these days.
Oh, true.
Wolverhampton. So many
True.
and the
But
coach
they
as
sold
well.
a few players recently.
Yeah.
The only team I've got is Xanthi FC. The only reason I know them is because Popovic went to
Yeah.
coach him and got sacked after half a season.
Yeah.
Kalac got sacked before that.
Kalac.
But X is the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Why? Young Boys sounds like a team of pedophiles. What the fuck would you name your team Young Boys? But anyway. And the other one's Yokohama Marinos, only because Ange
Ange,
Postecoglou
Okay, yeah.
is
Yeah.
the coach there and had
Yeah.
a lot of success.
Yeah.
Zenit St. Petersburg.
Yeah. Big club
Yeah.
backed by the large gas company.
It's interesting though
Gazprom, I
because
think they're called.
they do spend money. They do go after, I know for example in South America, they do go after players.
Hulk played for them. Yeah.
Hulk played for them. They got a couple of Colombian, Argentinian players.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to have the success
in Europe.
in
Oh.
Europe. I don't even know about domestically if they
Yeah.
won or not. But in Europe, you think they'll do a little bit better or be spoken about a little bit more,
Yeah.
I think
considering the money.
clubs from Eastern Europe, maybe particularly Russia, and like they have the advantage. Sometimes the games are played in the cold winter, December time. Though clubs can struggle going there, but then outside of that, they just don't know. They just can't lift their game. I don't know, something about it.
Oh, let's do V.
There we go.
Let's do V. Obviously, Valencia.
Yes. Valencia, huge club, 2 Champions League final
Finals.
appearances in a row. Great players coming through there. They've really signed big players as well. Guys like Villa, Mata, David Silva,
Absolutely.
names.
Joaquin as well played for them, and Mendieta.
Yeah.
Great names that
In the
They've
90s,
got-
had Claudio Lopez.
gone a bit. Yeah. Just they've gone into a bit of a downward spiral, or big downward spiral. In terms of financially, having to be able
Yeah,
to get
that's
in
right.
this stadium that was trying to build that hasn't been able to come
Where
to
do they come in
fruition.
now in the league?
They're going to mid-table now. They're actually close
Oh,
to
really?
relegation. They've won a few games
Yeah.
now.
Last time we talked about him, it looked like they were
But
going
they-
to
Yeah,
take
they're
the
good.
job.
They
Yeah.
let go of some good players to direct rival Villarreal, another club with V.
Yeah.
They're in the list. I got them on the
They
list.
sold Danny Parejo for like cheap as chips on 10 million,
Yeah.
to your direct rival. Like that's a show, but a lot of ownership issues there as well. So, but they reckon that a Malaysian prince might buy them. So,
Villarreal is the other one I had. Obviously,
Yeah.
that Forlan Riquelme partnership still sticks to mind.
Manuel Pellegrini coaching, man, that was
Yeah.
a good sight to watch.
Yeah, semi-finalist of the Champions League.
Yeah.
Riquelme missed the penalty.
Yes, that's right, against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
obviously,
that's all for V? That's all we're done?
nah.
Yeah, I think that's
If we
it.
got Vélez. Well, the only team in the
Oh,
list, to be honest, that are world champions. So
Yes, they beat that Milan team. Yes, Johnny, we've heard it.
why can't I remind you every time?
You're getting to that. I'll just beat
100%. You
stole
got
your line.
Valencia, and you think Valencia's massive. Tell me when they've won the Champions League. Never.
Fair enough. Yeah, Vélez.
I know. Look, there. I'm just being biased here, but I wanted to add them in. All right, that was a fun episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Went through it all.
Like I said, very, very different
Yeah.
compared to what we used to do, but a fun one. I don't know if we'll do this again. Obviously not with clubs,
Yeah.
but it'd be interesting to do it with players, maybe.
Oh, yeah, players would be
Yeah.
good. Players would be fun. I think there'll be a lot
Yeah.
more discussion
Yeah,
Yeah.
around some players, a lot more
Yeah.
arguments.
and disagreement,
Yeah, that's
especially Fatty's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd do it with national teams, though, would we? In the alphabetical
Nah.
order.
No, I mean Qatar's pretty safe for the queue, I mean.
Oman, say for O.
Well, I guess with FIFA they're safe as well if they pay them under the table.
Yeah.
There'll be no hot tips today by Fatty,
no.
so
Nah, sorry,
I'll ask
guys.
him to just message me and I'll invest for you guys. Don't worry, I don't want to give you my tips, otherwise I'll probably get sued. But apart from that, yeah, once again, thank you. We're back next week. Any last words, Hack?
And guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please comment, like, and as always, if this is the first time you're watching us, subscribe.
And if anyone wants to challenge me for those 3 World Cups,
Please.
I'm happy to take it on.
I want to see him lose.
He's going to start studying for this.
Thanks, guys. Until next time.